this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we're here for another one of our mass making sessions, and what I thought we could do today is make these kind of like pocket envelope-y things with a policy closure tie. So I'm just going to kind of show you what it is first of all, and then we can run through what you're going to need and then get making some. So obviously this is our policy closure with the string, and then it opens up and you've got two pockets inside. So it's kind of like an envelope, but obviously inside it's, it's your pocket. So super easy to make. Obviously, as you know, I never make anything that's not super easy because, who wants to be doing that? But probably a little bit fiddly and a little bit time consuming. So how many we're actually going to get done, I'm not really too sure, but a perfect thing for a mass make. So if you are joining along and want to make some of these, what you're going to need is you're going to need some book page. And again, I mean, these are just guidelines. You don't have to use book page. You can use, any papers that you want. Some book page, and I've brought along a bunch of printables that are either printed on two sides, because obviously when you get your envelope flap, you're going to be able to see the inside. So ideally you'd want it two-sided. Or alternatively, you could get away with using coffee dyed, because then of course the inside is, is nice. This is all printed on 200 GSM paper / card, or actually this could even be 250. It's much thicker than copy paper. Of course you can use copy paper, but you may need to double it over and things to make it more durable. So I've brought along, a variety of A4 sheets that are, as I say, are printables. Then I've brought along some, this piece of 12 by 12. It's a scrap from 12 by 12. Again, it's a double-sided piece, so would work nicely. And then I've also brought along some full sheet 12 by 12s, which again are double-sided. How many I think I'm actually going to be making, as I brought along so much stuff, is just no idea. Then you're going to need some string, ideally. If you don't have string, you could use embroidery thread, or cotton, or I don't know, ribbon, maybe thin ribbon, anything that kind of is going to do that policy closure thing. You may need something to poke a hole to put your policy closure little circles. Now I have got some pre-punched circles. I always keep some pre-punched circles on hand, so you may want to do that. If you haven't got a circle punch, you may want to just cut out a few circles. These are from a 1-inch circle punch, so that's what those are. I've got my bone folder, and I've got my ink. I've got my glue, and obviously you'd need some brads to put in the centre of your little circles for the policy closure. I think that's everything you're going to need. Of course, if you want to decorate up, you're going to need some little bits to decorate. But I think that's pretty much all you're going to need. Now, I may do some stitched and some glued, so that hopefully we can kind of, include people who don't have access to a sewing machine. So I'm just going to move everything out of the way, and then let's get cracking. Okay, so I've put some papers down. So I'm going to start by doing one with some A4 paper. Just because that to me feels like it's going to be quite nice and easy to do. So this one is one of my printables. It's from my Victorian Florals. I think it's set 3. And it's been coffee dyed. So it's got that beautiful coloration, obviously, on the inside. So, it just kind of makes it a little bit more attractive to look at on the inside, really. So all I'm going to do is fold it over here. So that's your first fold. Then I'm going to take some book page. And I've brought along a, variety of size book pages. But this one obviously is, bigger one. So I'm going to take my book page, fold that in half, and that will slot into here, like that. Now, as I say, I'm going to make some stitched and some glued. So if this were going to be stitched, you could stitch it now. Obviously, you may wish to trim down the size of it. You might not want to have it quite so large as this. I'm going to, again, hopefully kind of make a variety of sizes. And then what you're going to want to do is fold your flap over, leaving a little bit of space here for anything you want to put in, because it is going to be a, a sort of envelope, really. So I'm just going to bring that over here and then just bone folder that down. Like that. And then obviously now I want to just trim down my flap, so I'm just going to do that first. Again, I mean, I just use scissors, but you may want to use your paper trimmer. I get loads of comments about this. Honestly, I just am absolutely shocking with a paper trimmer. So, you know, if I tried to use a paper trimmer, I just can't. And it would be so crooked, you wouldn't believe. So what I might do is trim my piece down now to get it to the sort of size that I would like it. So I'm going to just trim down... Going to trim down this book page here, so as I have it sort of, you know, with texty bits on both ends, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to put that there, and then I'm just going to fold this over and then hope for the best. So I'm just going to trim it down here. Again, don't think I made a very good job of that. I can see already that's not very straight. It's not too bad, but anyway. I doubt anyone's going to be coming out measuring. So long as it looks vaguely okay, that will do. So that's my piece here. So let me just move this out the way. And then obviously this is going to be the glued version to just show you, you know, the glued version. So I'm just going to glue this down together. So I like to just put a little bit kind of in that crease. Then obviously some here around these edges. You can, you know, put it in the middle. Okay. And then I'm just going to glue this in there. Now I'm not going to even bother gluing the bottom, if you see what I mean, because then we're going to have a much deeper pocket. So just want to put it, you know, roughly where you want it to be in your envelope. Or in your pocket. I don't know really what to call these. Envelope pockets, I guess. Or, I don't know. I have to think of a suitable name before I upload the video. Maybe double envelope pocket or double pocket envelopes. I don't know. I'll have to give that some thought. And then, obviously, here, you're just going to glue down your side piece like that. And that's it. That's your whole form or your whole base of your envelope. I mean, like I say, it just doesn't get any easier. And, you know, if I'm doing it, you just know that it's going to be simple, simple, simple. So there we go. And then what we want to do now is obviously make our policy closure. So the policy closure, that's, you know, reasonably quick, but a little bit fiddly perhaps. So I like to use 3 circles. So one circle will be here and then the other 2 circles would be over here. And the reason that we use 3 is to save having to punch through or, you know, go through the base layer, if that makes sense. Because when I used to use the policy closures, I used to go through the base layer. And to be honest, that just made it really, really, really fiddly. Because, of course, you know, trying to get it in the right place was a nightmare, to say the least. So it's actually, well, actually far easier to just double up your circles. And then, you know, you haven't got to worry at all. So like that. And then all you're going to do, and actually we could probably go through all 3. So take all 3 of them. I mean, you probably could do with like something foamy to put this on, but I'm just going to try and do them here like this. If you've got like some plasticine or, I don't know, some, I don't know, blue tack or something, that would be really handy at this point. Okay, so that's your circles. Just going to ink that one, just in case you can see it. And you won't really see it because it's going to be underneath here. Okay, so then you're just going to get your brads. So let me just pull my brads in. Okey-dokey. Okay, oops. So we just put the brad through that circle there. Okay, and that's going to go on one side, and then the other one you might want to then, or you will want to just punch through. I mean, you don't have to. Again, you could use that same kind of thing there and having the double circles, and you know, you might prefer that. In fact, I'll try and remember, and we'll do the next one like that, because then you're not going to have it poking through here on the other side. I mean, personally, I don't mind that, but you know, in hindsight, maybe actually it would look better if I had the double circles on both of them. You know, I don't know. I haven't really ever tried doing it like that. So I'm just going to hold that flat like that. I'm just going to hot glue this on. And again, you know, I'm obviously using hot glue for speed, really, because I'm doing a video. You don't have to use hot glue. Use any glue that you fancy using or that you get on with best. So that's that. And then I'm going to take our string and then get in between those two circles, if you see what I mean, because this is our double circle piece. So get in between those, and then all you're doing is knotting your string off. I like to double knot it. Oops. To hold it, you know, in place. And then I'm just going to trim that down so hopefully it's a bit less visible. Okay. And then obviously you can then do the, you know, that sort of, oh, I don't know, figure of eight, figure of eight looping around your circles. So, oops. Oh, now struggling. Oh, it's trying to go underneath that base circle. This worked a lot better, obviously, on my prototype before starting the video. But, you know, these things always do, don't they? When you're doing it off camera, they're going to work better. And that's your little piece. So super simple, just a little bit on the fiddly side. But to be honest, not that fiddly. And I think they look quite, you know, quite nifty. So probably worth the extra bit of work trying to fiddle around to get them, you know, to work properly. So I'm just going to kind of ink that up, that book page a bit, because it was looking a bit white in comparison to the rest of the piece. But, you know, and you could then round your corners or, you know, whatever you like. But they're super cute, aren't they? So I will demonstrate one more and then we can relax and, you know, just have a nice time and make some of these. So let's just move this one to the side. Okay, I will bring in my my piece of 12 by 12. Sorry, lost for words there for a moment. So I've got my piece of 12 by 12 here. Again, this is probably going to be far too tall, but we can adjust it in a moment. So just going to fold my first piece over. Now you don't want your first piece too wide, because of course, you know, you've got to accommodate a you know, sheet of book page in there as well. So if you have it too wide, you're going to perhaps, you know, be coming unstuck really. Excuse the pun. Okay, so that's my piece of book page, which I'm going to just pop in there. So again, I'm just going to glue this book page down, or in fact, actually, I'm going to probably stitch this one just to kind of show you the, you know, the stitched and the non-stitched versions. So again, over here, I'm just going to take my flap, or what's going to be my flap, and fold that down. Again, just hopefully leaving a little bit of a space, you know, so you've got easy access to be able to, you know, slide things in and out here. And then we're just going to go down here, trim this off. Again, I probably won't make a very good job of this. Seem to not be very straight today with the cutting. Again, I mean, we just have days where we're better than others, don't we? Some days we're better than others. Okay, so that's your piece. So I'm just, again, going to cut that down so that hopefully I've got similar sort of amounts of text on each end. So I'll just put that there. And then we're just going to cut this down. I mean, you could make these full height, you know, of like your A4 pages, or, you know, however you like really. But I mean, these could then be stuck into a journal. They could be used tucked into a journal, not stuck into a journal. You know, they're quite versatile, aren't they? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this across to the sewing machine. I'll take this with the camera and just show you how I'm going to stitch around it. And then obviously when I stitch the ones later, I probably won't take you across to the sewing machine. Okay, so I'm here at the sewing machine now. And so all I'm literally going to do, I'm not even going to kind of glue this down or anything because it's going to be held down by the stitching. So all I'm doing is putting that into there like that. And then I'm just going to literally stitch that. I might just extend my stitch slightly, maybe to a 3 instead of a 2.5, which is, you know, is its standard setting. And the only reason for that is sometimes, you know, what you find is if it's a very small stitch, all you're really doing is like piercing the paper because the stitch is too close together, you know, so you're then leaving it a bit vulnerable to tearing. So I've gone round the bottom as well, and then I'm just going to come up the, oops, oh, no, I've got my first problem of the day with the sewing machine. I don't know quite what happened there, but anyway, I'll just have to rethread it. Okay, turns out my thread had run out, so that was all it was. I thought it was obviously my shoddy sewing, but yeah, my, you know, top roll of thread had run out. So, right, so I just go back in and just finish that off exactly as we were doing. So I'll just backstitch there. Okay, let me just take that out and I'll just show you how that looks. So literally, let me move the sewing machine out the way. All I've done is stitched around on the 3 sides like that. So you've got your pocket here and a pocket here. And then of course you've got your flap. And then we can put our policy closure bits on there. So I'm just going to go back to the desk. Okay, so I'm back now at the desk. So we're just going to do our circles. So I said that I was going to try out having the 2 circles on each side, wasn't I? So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, just ink those up. I haven't inked up my papers or anything yet, and these ones haven't been coffee dyed. As I say, this is part of a 12 by 12 pad. So, I mean, again, these are quite good for using up some of those 12 by 12 papers, especially if they're double-sided. Or, of course, you know, if you coffee dyed them, they'd be pretty, you know, to use anyway, because they would be coffee dyed on the back. So, again, just going to go through my holes or my circles, sorry. I'm just going to punch it through into the ball of string. Okay, so that's my version of the sellotape or the foam or the, not sellotape, sorry, you know, blue tack, plasticine, whatever, you know, one of those kinds of items. So again, just going to kind of go through with my brad. Oops, oh my goodness, can't see now to actually separate those legs of that. And then the other one. Like that. Okay, and then again, just kind of pop them down. I might need to cut my flap down slightly on this one because it's quite big, although it should be okay actually if I just glue that, you know, make sure I glue it quite over. So again, just going to hot glue that down. That one, sorry, had some hot glue just drip across onto that paper. Oh, now marking that paper completely, but again, I mean, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. By the time I've inked it up and all the rest of it, you know, it'll be looking quite marked anyway. Okay, so that one there. Okay, let's just go round the edge. And I might ink the back of this one as well, just in case this doesn't get glued into a journal. Then, of course, I've got sort of uniformity on the front and the back. So, you know, just something to bear in mind, really, if you're not likely to glue it down, which, you know, at this point, I don't know whether I'm likely to or not, then, you know, you may want to just do something on the back as well. I mean, not necessarily decorate it, because, of course, then you'd take your option of gluing it down away. But, you know, you may want to just ink it up at least. Okay, and then, did I do that side? Yep. Just go round the back as well. that. Okay. Okay, and then I did actually bring some baker's twine across because I thought that might look quite cute. I know it's red rather than pink, but actually I think it looks quite pretty, to be honest, in the red. So just going to, again, and I'll tie it around this one this time, I think. Whoops. Oh, come on. Okay, I'll just trim that down. And then again, doing your sort of, you know, figure of 8. Oops. So around there. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is super fiddly. Okay. I mean, it doesn't help because, of course, you know, I'm not that close to it because I'm, you know, got the camera, not the camera, but, you know, the phone in between me and the thing. So there we go. And again, just going to trim that off there. So really, really, really super cute, aren't they? And like I say, I mean, not hard or anything, just probably a little bit on the time consuming side and a little bit sort of fiddly. But, you know, super easy and really, really cute. And at this point, you know, you could obviously round your corners off. So let's do that. You know, so you could really kind of go to town with how you finish these off so that they look unique to what you're doing. You might want to round this side of the corners off, but I'm just going to do these here for this one. But, you know, you could have a decorative edge, anything you like really, but aren't they so cute? So let's do some more. Put those to one side. So I'm just going to bring in just a couple of sheets here. So this is from my Victorian Florals set 2, I think it is. Again, let me just work out which way round I'd like this. So I might have it. Do I want it this way round? I think what I'm going to do is cut this down actually. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to go in this way. So hopefully I get a bit of that blue showing, because of course the flap probably is going to be predominantly blue, you know, rather than much of the florals showing. So again, I'm going to take my book page here, and that will just go into here like that. And then we can just fold our, you know, our flap over like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut our flap down again. Yeah, so I mean, if you've got any of those decorative, you know, what do you call them? You know, like a decorative die edge stamp or something, you could do that along there. You know, any of that would look really quite good. So now I'm just going to trim it down. So I'm going to trim it down up here, I think. Like that. Oops, just need to come in slightly. Oh, I forgot to cut that book page down. So I'll probably have to tidy this one up quite a little, you know, quite a bit when I've stitched it in. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to leave that there ready to take across to the sewing machine. So I'm just going to kind of put that to one side. And I think that's what I'm going to do is actually, you know, fold a bunch over so that they're ready to go. And then I will take them all across to the sewing machine at the same time. So this one, for instance, I can probably get that lady in on this envelope, so we'll just do that like that. Again, squish it down, take some book page and fold that in. Again, that's going to go in here. I'm going to actually cut this down before I forget again. So like that. Okay. Oops. And then that will go over there like that. And then again, you know, you just want to make your flap so you've got, you know, quite a bit of your flap hanging over as it would on an envelope. And again, just cut that down there like that. And, you know, I mean, obviously I can tidy that up and make it look a bit better in a minute. And then I'm just going to go across here. So actually what I might do is put this on top and then it would be easier to see. So, yeah, didn't really think of that with the others, but just trim that across there. And, you know, I will tidy this up, you know, after I've stitched it. I mean, to be fair, could have it actually this way round and have her on the flap. I might prefer it. Yeah, I think I prefer her on the flap actually. So yeah, I mean, they're very forgiving, aren't they? So I'm just again popping that down to the side so that I've got that ready to take to the sewing machine. So I'm just going to fold my book pages in. We'll just fold a few of those in. Oh, that was my pink Parisian background papers, by the way, that particular paper that I had just a second ago. So there we go. And then this one here. Okay, let's just bone folder those down. I've stopped the camera so many times I haven't got the foggiest idea now how long I've been filming for, which is always a little bit risky because then, you know, I just keep miscalculating it lately and my videos are then, you know, either really long or not, you know, not quite long enough or not as long as I would have liked. Right, so this one here, oh, let's have a look. Yeah, I'm just deciding which way round I want it to go. So again, I'm going to fold this piece in here. Like that. And then again, just coming over like that. Oops. Okay, and then we'll just chop this down. So I'm going to stop talking now through what we're doing, because obviously it's pretty self-explanatory. And we can just then, you know, relax and have a nice time making some of these. So I hope that everybody's having a good week. I do have an apology to make. I really do apologise that I didn't upload a video on Sunday. Yeah, it was a kind of combination of things, really. I mean, I didn't really realise that I hadn't until quite late, and then it was a little bit late, really, in the day. So then, you know, I just thought, well, actually, rather than upload one late, you know, I'll kind of leave it until Monday. So I do apologise for that. And, yeah, I really, you know, because I know that some of you, you know, you like to have your morning coffee and things and watch my video, and really do appreciate that. So thank you so much. And I do really apologise. I mean, the only thing is, obviously, I do have a huge catalogue or a huge back library of videos. So, I mean, I just hope that, you know, if you were kind of, you know, normally your routine is maybe having your morning coffee, watching my video, hopefully there was something that you were able to pull from my back catalogue and watch. I mean, I don't know how many videos I've got, to be honest now, but I think well over 1,000. So, you know, hopefully there would have been something that you could have then pulled to watch, to be honest. So, yeah, I just really do apologise. It was just kind of one of those things, really. And like I say, I mean, by the time it kind of dawned on me, it was just a little bit kind of too late, really. And I just thought, what shall I do, you know? And I thought, well, actually, I think I'm going to be better off leaving it now rather than trying to upload something, you know, late in the day, which then, of course, people have missed their routine anyway. And, you know, then it's going to start clashing with my next video that then would be released kind of, you know, in a few hours later. So, yeah, I'm just, you know, I'm terribly sorry. So, but I hope that everybody's had a good week. I'm still playing catch up, I'm afraid. So I know that, you know, lots of emails and things are still unanswered, and comments. Wow, really, really, really running behind with my comments. So I, again, just really sorry. And I just do apologise. It's just one of those things, to be honest. I love reading the comments. And because I love chatting, of course, you know, I love being able to respond to comments properly rather than just giving them a little, you know, one of those heart things to show that I've read it. You know, I love to chat, but I mean, of course, you know, that means it's a bit time consuming. So yeah, it's, again, just another one of those things really that I need to perhaps stop chatting quite so much and, you know, just read. But I mean, if you're kind of quite a natural chatterbox, you know, which I am, that's quite hard to do because, you know, I read things and just straight away I want to kind of join in and sort of agree or, you know, kind of comment on something that you've maybe said that's happened to you, you know, so it's, yeah, it's one of those tricky things. This, I think, was Moonlit Moments, I think, these papers. Sorry, I've been so busy chatting, I forgot that I hadn't mentioned the papers. Yeah, it's just one of those kind of tricky things that, you know, you get kind of involved in the chat and therefore, you know, you're not then able to get through as many comments, or you can get through a lot of comments, but then you can't really get involved in the chat. And so it's one of those just, you know, which is better. But, you know, if by nature you're a bit of a chatterbox like I am, you know, it's hard to not chat, I find. So, yeah. Anyway, I do apologise. I don't know whether I will actually ever catch up now, but anyway. I really do love reading your comments. So even if I'm not replying, please don't think I'm not reading, because I definitely am reading. You know, even if it's at a slower pace than I would like, I'm reading. So, okay. So I hope everyone had a good weekend. We had such gorgeous weather this weekend. It was absolutely lovely. Saturday was, oh, just glorious. Sat out in the garden, which, I mean, my son's been doing our decking and he's still doing it. So the garden's a little bit of a tip, if I'm truthful. And yeah, I don't want to sound really ungrateful, but it's getting a bit annoying, to be honest. But anyway, he and I did a couple of trips to the dump last week, you know, the kind of amenity tip thing, you know, to be able to get rid of some of the rubbish. So we did do that last week. I can't remember what day, but I mean, so again, that took me away, obviously, from videos and comments and what have you. So that was another thing. I've been quite busy. Oh, that was Birds, Bees and Butterflies, by the way, those papers. These are my Claridge's papers. So, yeah. Yeah, we went to the dump. And, yeah, like I say, so that also took me away from, you know, from what I would be doing normally. But, you know, we did need to go to get rid of the stuff. So, yeah, we've still got a couple more trips to do, unfortunately. So we've done one trip so far. Got rid of quite a fair amount. We've got, you know, the car is ready loaded up to do another trip. But the garden is still quite full. This is all the sort of rubble and things that he'd kind of dug out, because we'd had some herbs and things like that planted where he's now put the decking. So, yeah, it's all that kind of rubble and stuff like that that's obviously come up. So, yes, we have a fair amount still left, unfortunately. So we'll have to do another trip to the dump. But before we can even do that trip, we're going to have to obviously, you know, shovel that stuff up and kind of put it in bags and things ready to take to the dump, because at the moment it's just, like I say, kind of in the way really. And yeah, just need to bag it up and dig it up. But we can't do that until we've had our other dump trip, because of course now the car is full. So yeah, it's just one of those like ongoing things. But I mean, you know, hopefully another another couple of trips to the dump and we will be done. But yeah, that's another reason why obviously, you know, I've been a little bit slack, is because of course, you know, I've been doing things like that, which, you know, it's not that fun. No, don't get me wrong, I'd rather be crafting and rather be reading your comments, but you know, of course it does just need doing, doesn't it? Especially, you know, if he's been kind enough to lay the deck in, it would be a bit ungrateful of me to not pitch in and help with the sort of, you know, wheelbarrowing round the stuff and putting the stuff in bags and into the car. So yeah, that's kind of that's been taking up some of my time as well. Let's do one with this paper. Kind of thinking my flat bits are getting skinnier and skinnier, so I'm going to do this one a bit bigger, I think, because they may be looking a little bit too skinny now. Yeah, anyway, so the weekend was absolutely gorgeous though. I mean, it was fantastic to be able to actually get out and do some things in the garden, because, you know, obviously we have quite a bit to do out in the garden. And yeah, I mean, when you actually think, it's still quite early. I mean, we are still only in April, so I mean, to be honest, you know, we've been pretty fortunate with the weather really of late. So yeah, it's really nice. And this weekend is a bank holiday weekend, so again, for anyone who's not in the UK, I think maybe you just call them a holiday weekend. You know, like where, I mean, it used to be that everything was closed on a bank holiday, sort of like it was on a Sunday. But I mean, of course, now we have, you know, shops open on a Sunday and things like that. So yeah, it's not necessarily, you know, what it once was. But I mean, certainly banks, you know, they're all closed, you know. And well, I guess we have short opening hours. So, you know, everything's closed like Sunday hours, which means the shops and things are closed. Actually, that might not be true, to be honest. Things might be open longer than Sunday, but not as long as in the week. I'm not sure, actually, about the opening hours, so please don't quote me on that. But yeah, so that's really nice. It just means we all have a long weekend, which, you know, that's awesome. Who doesn't love a long weekend? So no plans as yet for the weekend or anything, but wow, I really hope the weather's going to be lovely like it has been, because that would be pretty nice and pretty, you know, pretty amazing for a bank holiday weekend if the weather is lovely. Right, okay, so I'm going to take all of these, I think, across to the sewing machine. I will just check how long I've been recording for, but I'm feeling like by the time I come back and do the little closures and things, probably this is enough. So I'll be back after the sewing machine. Okay, so I'm back from the sewing machine. I've just got a bit of tidying up to do on one or two of them, so I'm just going to do that now and get rid of the threads and things like that. So that's that one. This one again, just get rid of some of those threads and just kind of neaten up where that book page is, you know, overhanging slightly. That's that one. Okay. And, you know, they didn't take 2 seconds to do, to be fair. So, I mean, actually, that's what I would say about sewing machines is, you know, I know not everybody has a sewing machine. And I'm not saying that I'm like, you know, a sewing machine expert. No way, Jose. But they do make things pretty quick, to be fair. So, I mean, if you're kind of, you know, choosing to do the gluing rather than the sewing machine, sometimes, you know, I would do that rather than go to the sewing machine because I think, oh, I can't really be bothered, you know. Actually, it's kind of false economy time-wise because it actually is quicker at the sewing machine, I always find. So, yeah, you know, I mean, that's famous last words. I still probably would continue to be lazy and think, oh, I can't be bothered to get up and go to the sewing machine. But yeah, I mean, the amount of times that I have kind of felt lazy and done that, and then I've thought afterwards, oh my gosh, you know, this is ridiculous. It would have been quicker to just go to the sewing machine and just stitch that. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? But even though we know it, sometimes laziness gets the better of us. I mean, my sewing machine literally is, you know, I don't know, 3 meters, probably not even 3 meters from my desk. So why I would feel the need to be too lazy to actually get up and bother to go there is beyond me. But sometimes you're just comfy where you're sat, aren't you? And, you know, the thought of then getting up, no matter how close, you just think, oh, I can't be bothered. Can't be bothered. I'm going to stay where I'm sat. Well, that's me anyway. Right. Okay. So these are my pieces. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I'm thinking I need 7, so 14, so 28 of these. So I might have to punch some more circles. So 1, 2, oops, 3, 4. I'll just put them in piles of, you know, how they're going to go. Because I've also got some here that are like coffee dyed. So I'll put those kind of separately. And I'll put, I guess, a brown one underneath them. Okay. Right, okay. So, yeah, I'm seriously slacking in the circle stakes. So I probably should punch some more circles out. But let's just kind of get doing these because, you know, it may be that time-wise actually, you know, perhaps 4 is all that I will actually get done. Because obviously, you know, I do want to decorate one up as well, like we normally do in a mass making session. Okay. So, yeah, what else have we been doing? Oh, well, we went to some more shops again. Over the weekend, so that was really good, you know, because I think just everyone is needing things, aren't they? And, you know, of course now the weather is nice, so, you know, I don't know about you guys, but every single year I just struggle as soon as it gets to summer. I love wearing summer dresses and, you know, what have you, but I just really struggle with summer shoes. And you know, I love obviously the winter from a boot wearing point of view, because boots, they're just so comfy, aren't they? And you just chuck them on, they look fine with every single thing. You know, and they're just like a total, you know, you don't have to think about them. You're just wearing them. And every single year the summer comes and I think, oh gosh, now what am I going to wear now on my feet, you know, with my summer dresses? And, oh, I don't know. Obviously I use my bike quite a bit, you know, to go around to the school. I mean, don't get me wrong, the school is, you know, a couple of minutes from my house. So I could walk there probably in the time it takes me to actually physically get my bike out and get onto my bike. But, you know, I do really like using my bike. But that also restricts kind of footwear, because a lot of sandals, you know, that would look pretty with a dress, you know, they're maybe not kind of quite right for then going on my bike. So, you know, plus I don't know about you guys, but oh, I can't wear high shoes or anything like that. So, and obviously then, you know, some summer dresses just look really horrible, don't they? If you're just wearing like plimp soles with them or something, which of course, you know, is what I tend to choose to wear. But yeah, so I did go and have a look for some summer shoes yesterday. I've bought a few pairs and, I mean, the girl behind the till kind of looked at me like I was mad, because I said to her, well, I'm just going to take them home and, you know, try them on. And she said, well, haven't you tried them on here? I said, oh yeah, I have tried them on here, but, you know, I like to try them on with dresses, you know, and see what looks good with dresses, you know. I think she thought I was, you know, gone mad. Because obviously, yeah, I guess to her, she thought, well, you've tried them on in the shop. What more can there be to do? But I mean, some of it, you know, it's kind of trying them on and seeing how they look with the dress. Or, you know, if they've even got just a tiny heel, trying them on and just seeing, you know, how do I get on with that? Like, can I walk in them or not really? You know, how would I get on my bike with that little tiny heel? So, yeah. And I mean, some of them, they have like a wedge heel, don't they? Which again, you know, that is kind of easier than like a, you know, a high heel, if you see what I mean. I mean, even though technically a wedge kind of is high-ish, you know, or can be high-ish. I mean, of course, I wouldn't go for a really high one because I wouldn't be able to then walk at all. But the problem is with a wedge, you know, again, can you really bike with a wedge? So, yeah, this morning when I went round then to the school, I did wear, you know, one of the pairs that I thought that I would keep, because I thought, yeah, I'll keep a couple of the pairs. But they're a kind of wedge sandal, but again, I mean, the wedge is probably like, you know, starts pretty small and then goes to about perhaps that height. But I walked this morning, felt really, really weird, obviously wearing a wedge because all of my boots are completely flat. So, you know, even though it wasn't particularly high, just like that much or whatever, at the, you know, at the highest point, that felt hugely high to me. So it felt really like strange, really strange. And again, you know, it's all very well, but I'm not quite sure whether that's going to be, you know, whether I'm going to be able to actually bike in them, you know, because as I say, I walked rather than biked. So, but I'm thinking a wedge, you know, should be able to bike in a wedge, hopefully. Oh, it's very tricky. Yeah, very tricky. And I mean, plimp soles, kind of, I've got like a white pair, which again, you know, that's fine. But I mean, like, I've got a few sort of black summer dresses, and, you know, then the white plimp soles obviously look really strange. So I did have a look and, you know, looked for some black, something black, you know, like maybe some black plimp soles. But the black plimp soles, they all have white on, which again, then to me, that doesn't really feel like it goes, because it's like, oh, that's got white on and there's no other white anywhere on the dress, if that makes sense. So yeah, I always find the whole summer shoes thing a bit of a nightmare. You know, like as soon as this summer comes, I've forgotten, obviously, the shoe dilemma from the year before. So I'm really chuffed. I get my summer dresses out and I think, oh, brilliant, you know, summer dresses. And then as soon as it comes time to go out for the very first time, I'm straight away in that, oh no, now what footwear do I wear? I mean, a few years ago, everyone just wore flip-flops, didn't they, really? You know, which, I mean, of course, then it was great because flip-flops are super comfy and you don't really have to think about them at all. I mean, now loads of the kids wear those slider things, don't they? Oh my gosh, I couldn't think of a more rubbish thing to wear on my feet. Slider, I'd be like sliding out of them constantly and sliding over, I think. So yeah, they're definitely not the footwear for me. I'd be, yeah, not getting on brilliantly with a slider, to be honest. Plus, you know, I'm not quite sure how great they would look with a summer dress, but yeah, I know that a lot of the kids, they do like the sliders, don't they? I might go for this one on here. Yeah, anyway, so that was what kind of I was trying to do yesterday, like on a mission of, you know, find some suitable summer footwear. And last week, I also tried to get some last week when I took my son to CrossFit, because he's back there now. So again, that joke of, you know, taking him across to CrossFit a couple of times a week, that's kind of started back up. So, you know, again, that's another thing that's, you know, taking up more of my time, I guess. But yeah, so took him across to CrossFit. And then while he was there, I popped round to a shop and, you know, again, was looking on a mission for more summer shoes. So again, I'd bought a couple of pairs. They have since gone back to the shop now. You know, because you get them home and then, like, you know, I just kind of wore them around for the evening a little bit. And yeah, then kind of thought, well, these aren't really very comfy. So they've now gone back. So hence I was still looking for them, you know, at the weekend. Nightmare. Absolute nightmare. I mean, when the weather first changes, you know, and I start getting my summer dresses out, I just wear my summer dresses with my boots. Which obviously that's not a great look, is it? You know, wearing your Ugg boots. I mean, they are ankle Ugg boots rather than like knee length ones, but still looked a bit kind of strange probably. You know, going out with a summer dress and Ugg boots, but they're so comfy. I wasn't ready to part with wearing them just yet. So yeah, I did go round to the school and down to the supermarket a couple of times just in my summer dress and my boots, but you know, I didn't really care, to be honest, but my son did say, oh, Mum, what are you wearing? So, well, I don't know quite what footwear to wear, you know, it's that in-betweeny stage, so, yeah. I mean, men, of course, they don't really have this worry, do they? They just, you know, wear their shorts and stick some trainers on, don't they? And, you know, Or I guess, you know, some don't even wear shorts, do they? They just still wear their jeans, which, you know, in fairness, they must be incredibly hot if they're just still wearing their jeans. But yeah, I don't envy them for that, because, wow, I'd be like stifling if I was still wearing jeans. But yeah, I guess that's what kind of a lot of men do. They just literally are swapping out their shoes for their trainers, or, you know, maybe they've worn their trainers all the time, you know, throughout the winter, and now they're just still wearing their trainers just with their shorts. I don't, you know, not sure. But yeah, definitely, you know, every year I kind of forget the whole shoe thing. And then the very first day that I come to put on, like, you know, a summer dress kind of thing, and then step outside the house, I think, oh no, what shoes am I going to wear? And so it begins that whole, oh no, what shoes? So, yep, it's begun for me now already, and it'll probably continue, to be honest. I mean, last year, I was wearing some sandals. I mean, they were very cheap, you know, from a very cheap shop here that we have here. But sometimes I just think, actually, you know what, I'm just going to buy 4 pairs of those really cheap ones. If I can't find any, you know, more decent kind of sandals, then I'll just buy like a few pairs of the cheap ones. Anyway, so that was what I'd done last year, and my son and I were walking into town. I think it was actually my son and my daughter and myself, and we were walking into town, and my shoe just snapped, literally just snapped. So yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare, because then of course my shoe wouldn't stay on, so I was then like, you know, lolloping around or limping around with just one shoe on. I mean, thankfully it was when my husband was still living, obviously, with us, and I mean, this is on the same road that we live. So, I mean, literally, we've been walking for about, I don't know, 6 minutes or 7 minutes from home. So we were very, very close. So we were able to just phone him and say, oh, you know, can you just nip down? And I just told him where my other pair of shoes were and said, you know, can you bring me a spare pair of sandals, please? Because my sandals have just broken. But yeah, of course, I mean, if that happened now, I would have to just walk home barefoot. So, yeah, you know, buying just a couple of cheap pairs, unless you're going to take a spare pair out in your handbag, which of course then they're not really going to fit in your handbag, are they? You know, is a risky choice, really. Okay, let's put that brown one on there. That looks really nice, doesn't it? Okay, right. This will be the last one that I actually do, and then we'll decorate one up. So, yeah, I'll have to save those others and do them off camera, because I did just check the time just to see how I was getting on. And, yeah, it's, you know, it would be quite long if I actually then finished them all and then decorate them all. So, not decorate them all, but finish them all and then decorate one. Just one. So, yeah. So, you know, they're brilliant to have ready-made, because they're a little bit time-consuming if you were making them, you know, one at a time. I always think those things that are a little bit faffy, they're the things that actually are really great to have on hand ready-made, aren't they? Like in a mass-made state, because, you know, they're the things that are going to actually be a bit more of a nuisance to actually make. You know, just as a one-off kind of, oh, I'll just quickly make one of those, and might take you, you know, half an hour to kind of make it. They're the ones that are really, really handy to have ready-made. Okay. And I finally started a journal. So, yeah, I know that I've talked quite a bit recently about the fact that, you know, I haven't really made any journals for, you know, ages now, because, you know, just when you're videoing, you tend to be videoing making ephemera more really than making a journal. So, yeah, I hadn't actually really kind of actually made a journal, but I've finally started one. So, you know, and I've got no excuse, because I've got obviously a ton of ephemera ready, and I've even got the mass-made covers and all of that stuff, and the topper covers and everything, or cover toppers and everything. So, got no excuse, but yeah, just, you know, getting kind of around to it, I guess. Right, okay. So, which one shall I decorate up? Kind of thinking maybe this one, actually. Quite nice, isn't it? Okay, how should we decorate this? Let me just see what I've got floating about. It's always good to use things that you've got just laying around on the desk, isn't it? Oh, that's one of my little frames. These are just from my Frames Digi, but you get like a big sheet, you know, big size, and these smaller ones. And that smaller one actually is just perfect on there, isn't it? I didn't really kind of think it was going to be, but yeah, it's really ideal. Let me just see if I've got a, you know, suitable colour butterfly. Okay. That's quite nice like that, actually. Yeah, I quite like that. And do we want sort of any doily or anything like that on there? Look. Just got some white doily here that's just on the desk. Oops. Yeah, I quite like that. It does break it up, doesn't it? I mean, sometimes you take it away thinking, do I need it? But yeah, I think actually it does. Just breaks it up a little bit. I'll just pop that there. Press that down. Yeah, when I took my daughter around to school this morning, because I'm filming this obviously on the Monday and I, you know, ready to upload on Tuesday, it was quite blowy. They had said on the weather it was going to be less blowy today, but oh, it felt really blowy, to be honest. But looking out now, it looks like the wind's dropped quite a lot, and it's just looking really gorgeous and sunny. So fingers crossed it's another really lovely day. Okay. There we go. And then let's see if we want some lace, because, well, of course we always have a bit of lace, don't we? So yeah, let's just see what lace I've got that might look good. Just quickly looking behind me in my little lace drawer. Weirdly, I was kind of thinking white might look good. I know I've said white and now I've pulled out ivory, but oh no, not that side. Maybe that side. Looks quite cute, doesn't it? Or I have this lace, which I'd used this on something else lately. Oh no, that's too big. Too big and kind of too much going on, weirdly enough. You know, because it's got that ribbon through it, which you wouldn't have thought would make such a difference, would you? But yeah, it did make a difference. Let me just see whether I can find the white, because I've got a white version of this, which again I have been using lately on something else, and I just think actually that might look quite good on here. You know, something's kind of calling me saying use white instead of ivory, but oh, and of course now I can't find the white, so well, we'll just go for the ivory, because I don't want to be here kind of all day taking forever, you know, trying to find it. So I'm just going to open this out and ink around, because mainly, you know, that book page is a little bit, well, it's not plain, it's not pale, but you know, just, yeah, just ink it all up. Okay. And then I'm wondering whether, because I did like this running down the side, so I'm just going to put this down the side, and I'm going to glue that first, so that then we get like a gauge for if we want any more anywhere. Oh dear, now I've stuck that in the wrong place. Okay, that looks pretty, and just chop that down. Okay, and do we want any more? That's quite cute in there, isn't it? yeah, I think I quite like that in there. So let's just run that down there. Okay. Oh, I love how that looks. I mean, you know, there was barely anything that we've added there, but it just looks gorgeous, doesn't it? You know, sometimes you really don't need to add a lot for things to look, you know, quite dramatically different. So just then again do that sort of figure of 8 thing. Oh. Sorry, I'm doing that all fingers and thumbs thing again today. I'm just no rhyme or reason, but just some days that's just kind of what happens. And today is obviously another one of those days, I'm afraid. Do we want anything else on here? Just got a couple of little stamped. Actually, I don't think this is stamped. I think this is possibly a, you know, what do you call this? Like a die cut, shop bought die cut piece. Oh, I quite like that, as if it's like a hinge. Just snip that in half. So we could have one there and one there, or one here and one here. Oh, I shouldn't have stuck the butterfly on, should I? Because now I'm struggling to actually squish this in, as I have them at opposite, you know, diagonal type bits. I mean, it's a bit strange, but yeah, quite nice actually. Let's just have those, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to wet glue those down. Okay, that's that one. Okay, and then this one. Okay. That's it. So that's how that looks now. Super pretty. I'm just going to pull in a blank journal. So I'll pull in that same old one that we keep pulling in every single week, you know, that still I haven't started. I have started a journal, like I say, this week, but not that one. So yeah, that one's still sat there like it has been for ages. I'll just show you how this would look. So that's how that would look, obviously, on the page. Again, I would probably glue it down on 3 sides. So you'd have then your pocket, like say here, you know, in this side. And then you'd have your little policy closure mechanism here. And then when you open that up, you'd have your pocket here and then your pocket here. So it's really, really, really super cute, isn't it? And I mean, like I say, you know, you wouldn't have to do them this long. You know, if you prefer to have little smaller ones or, you know, sort of shorter ones, you could do them shorter. You know, or indeed if you wanted to have them kind of more full size on the page. I mean, that's not full size, but, you know, fuller size. Then you could do that as well. So they've got quite a few, you know, quite a few different options, I think. So, yeah, I hope that you like them. You know, I think they're pretty fun. And like I say, they could be, you know, slotted in or glued in accordingly. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day, and see you guys tomorrow. Thanks then. Bye.